Hello guys, Chris here, welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm going to be testing the Radeon RX 580 8GB in Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Beta. This one is the XFX GTS XXX version of the card. We are running it with the latest AMD drivers for it, and I'm not manually overclocking it. You can see all of its specs right here in Tech Power-Ups GPU Z, and this says 1.1 right there because there's nothing 3D on screen. When there is, it goes up to 3.0 as it should, and again, it has 8GB of VRAM, and over on the left, I'm pairing it with a Ryzen 5 3600X and 16GB of DDR4 3200MHz RAM in dual channel. Let's get into it, shall we? Let's go over the settings first. I am starting at 1080p resolution using the minimum settings preset with Fidelity FX CAS set to 69% sharpening. This is still native resolution, alright. VRS is enabled to give us a couple of extra frames, and I'm using normal textures because we got 8GB of memory, and the rest of the settings are set to the default minimum. Alrighty, here we go. Start counting our FPS. This is the new map in the beta, or at least the most recent one, and it is also very intensive, alright? So it's good to see that at native 1080p resolution, well, it actually drops a little bit. But most of the time, oh boy, let's throw a grenade there. Oh, wait, will it work? Will it kill somebody? I don't think so. But yeah, well, it seems to drop a little bit. In the previous match that I played, it was on one of the easiest games to run, the one with the store, you know. It was playing above 60 FPS the entire time. I haven't really seen it drop from 60, but in this one, yeah, you get 72 average, which is much better than something like a GTX 1650, but it still drops quite a bit, so that's the worst case scenario experience. You know, the more demanding maps will drop down from 60 FPS, which is a little bit of a shame. Also, this GPU is not supporting the latest drivers anymore. Those are the 23.8 something, and this only supports 23.7 something, unfortunately. So that could be also why it's underperforming slightly here in Black Ops 6 Beta. And when I first started the game, it said that we were running outdated drivers, so that's why I'm saying this, okay? Anyway, almost 69 FPS on average, my friends. If we go inside of like a closed area without much happening, it will go up to 69 average. I kind of want to end it at 69 average for these settings, because we will utilize FSR a little bit later, okay? I'm not gonna change settings to like medium, for example. It looks extremely similar on medium settings anyways. Even on ultra settings, this game looks similar to low. There's not much to it, you know, which is a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. I wish to have seen even lower graphics than the minimum preset, because that would mean it would be playable on like an old GTX 750 Ti, for example, even at 1080p. But that's asking too much, I guess. It's 2024. Maybe it's time for me to let the 750 Ti die. Okay, it was a legend of a card in its day, but now may it rest in peace. Also, one thing that I really like in this game is that whenever you equip suppressors, it doesn't seem to affect anything in the weapon. Like usually in other Call of Duty titles, the damage would go down on the weapon with suppressors. Not in this one. I like that. It makes me concentrate a little bit better because the sound of the weapon isn't as loud. And that's important when I'm making these videos. Alright, let's go. Oh boy, there we go. Headshot on that one. Killed from behind. Alright, I'm gonna stop it there. Apparently, it's not going to be possible for us to get 69 average. Anyway, FSR 3.0 is now applied with quality preset there. So it's going to upscale from 720p to 1080p. And this should be enough for us to get 60 plus 100% of the time. After all, we were only dropping into the 50s. So 10 more frames per second. It's probably what you can expect here. Oh, damn it. Okay. And indeed, with some fire effects and heat effects that we saw right there, it wasn't really dropping anymore. So if you want that 60 plus FPS experience, which I strongly recommend you to want in this game, you can have it with the RX 580. It's great to see that because this is a very inexpensive GPU these days, and you can still play the latest Call of Duty with it. Although you might have expected a little bit better performance maybe because the graphics well, they're kind of the same as the last 5 installments in the series. And this GPU ran Modern Warfare 2019 absolutely fine, like a champ, even on high settings, I believe, at 60 plus FPS most of the time. Still, guys, not doing a bad job at all. Oh my god. Although I kind of am. But that's the norm these days in Call of Duty. I guess the matchmaking rating already adjusted to me. Now, there is a little bit of a disadvantage by using FSR2 in this game. It's that it looks a little bit worse, of course. It's shimmery, like vegetation, which we don't see a lot of in this map. But, for example, take a look at those trees. Yeah, they're very pixelated. And, well, that's just a trade-off that you gotta live with, I guess, if you really want 60 plus FPS in all of the maps in this game, at the moment, at least. Hopefully, they will also optimize it better when the game releases, of course. I would like to see that, because then native resolution at 60 plus FPS might even be possible with this GPU. Of course, this is still a beta. The game isn't coming out for another month, so they still got time to make last-minute optimizations and so on. And I really hope to see another driver update for this GPU in the meantime as well from AMD. But anyway, if it performs like this in one of the most intensive maps, there is no problems whatsoever playing this game with the RX 580. I could actually recommend it, and since the minimum settings kind of look like the ultra settings, they're not too different. Oh, seriously. You can... Oh, the wizard! No! Anyways, as I was saying, with ultra settings looking similar to this, you're not losing much in the graphical quality department either, so you could buy the game if you really, really want to. Is it a good idea to spend 80 bucks on the game, where when your GPU also costs, dropping into the 50s by the way, with a lot of explosions and stuff, also costs 80 bucks? Maybe not. But you do you. The game is playable. It can look decent at the same time. So there's that. And if I called this FSR2, I'm sorry, but FSR3 is pretty much the same as FSR2. It just has frame generation support, which I'm not going to utilize because it introduces input lag. Now, I'm going to try NIS on ultra quality, which is a little bit less intensive than FSR2, as you can see, 80s, 70s, just a little bit, but it might be enough for it to achieve like 5 to 10 more FPS on average and be just a tad comfortably a tad more comfortable experience than what we saw so far. Also, looking at this footage, for example, the grass is not flickering all over the place. The trees at the distance aren't pixelated like crazy anymore. And I think this is probably the way to go if you are playing with the RX 580. NIS from NVIDIA is better looking and it performs better than FSR 3.0. Developers, please implement FSR 3.1. It looks much better. Let's do this. Start counting our FPS. This is the other map that used to be the most intensive one in the beta, but now it isn't the most intensive one, just by a little bit. And it's getting 80s. That is very good. 70s, as you can see, no problems, guys. 580, man, with NIS is the way to go. Oh, of course. I couldn't even see the guy. Oh yeah, this area is the most intensive one in this map, and it's getting 60s. 66, 67, not bad. See, you can have a good experience here, very consistent one and stable, even in the beta. And I really, really hope that the performance at least stays the same whenever the game comes out, because previously, in previous Call of Duties, performance would be great in the beta and it would drop a little bit by the time it fully releases, because they just will add content and not optimize for it. It's something that they do a lot in Warzone as well, and that's why it always becomes more and more intensive with new seasons. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh, come on. Why me? There were 3 of us there. Why did you pick me to kill? Oh, this is not good. Well, not the performance, but the enemies move like ninjas. Jesus. Oh my gosh. Come on, come on. Come on. Okay, I got this. I got this. I am the MVP on my team now. They need to kill me. Come on, little good stuff. The only reason why I saw that one was because of his tag, you know? Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to spot him there. Oh, no! Come on, come on. We can do this. Both of us can do this. Okay, good stuff, good stuff. HVT, not MVP. It's the same thing, though. Probably not the same thing, but I mean, in my head, it's the same thing. It's the most valuable person in their team, right? We need to kill him for the objective, so makes sense to call him the MVP. Okay. Anyway, let's try to go for a higher refresh rate experience using balanced NIS here. I mean, yes, it gives us 100 FPS sometimes, so it's definitely a little bit better. It's still visible in terms of the graphics quality, right? It's kind of like utilizing FSR2 on performance, maybe. The image quality degradation using NIS at lower values is definitely very noticeable. On ultra quality, it looks great. Native, it looks awesome for sharpening the image, you know. But here on balance, not that good, not that good. But you can still spot people well. You can still adjust the sharpening a little bit, and I recommend you to do that actually, because it's very, very soft at the moment, and it kind of looks like an oil painting now, but at least we get a little bit higher FPS for that higher refresh rate experience on a higher refresh rate panel, which you might have. I don't know. Seriously? Come on. Victory! I got the victory kill, guys. Look at that. 125 to 124. If I had died there, we'd lose, basically. Anyway, I really don't recommend you to go down to performance NIS, so I'm not going to really test that. Balanced is the bare minimum I would go with for that close to high refresh rate experience. Gets 95 on average after all. So that's been it. Thanks very much for watching. I'll test more settings and resolutions when the game comes out. This is just a beta test, so yeah, I'll stick to this. And love you all. Bye-bye.